Hello everybody, Trump and Putin had a phone call. For me it is yesterday, for maybe somebody in the United States it was still today. Let's talk about this. There is an article in Substack by Olga Lautman. Trump's Sham plan is about assisting Russia, not Ukraine. Let's speak about it. As I write this, Ukraine cities are under attack by Russian drones. This comes just hours after a theatrical phone call between Trump and Putin, where Putin showed his dominance by making Trump wait an hour. The timing was no accident. It fell on the anniversary of Russia's illegal and brutal annexation of Crimea 11 years ago, an occupation defined by concentration camps, forced disappearances, and torture of Ukrainians. While Ukraine fights for survival, Trump is playing along with Russia's propaganda, legitimizing Russia's genocide and war crimes. The so-called ceasefire discussion between Putin and Trump is nothing more than a smokescreen. Putin agreed to a partial ceasefire to pause strikes on energy and infrastructure, but this means nothing when Russia's strategic targets have always been Ukrainian homes, hospitals, schools, and playgrounds. Ukraine remains under constant attack as Moscow continues to terrorize and try to erase Ukraine piece by piece. If Russia truly wanted peace, it could withdraw its troops from Ukraine at any moment. Instead, Trump is trying to hand Ukraine over to Russia while reestablishing economic ties with Moscow, prioritizing Putin's interests over Ukraine's sovereignty and American alliances. What makes this even more infuriating is the absurdity coming out of United States media, as headlines parrot Trump and Russia statements at face value, treating this sham as serious diplomacy rather than the orchestrated propaganda stunt it is. Once again, mainstream outlets are giving legitimacy to Trump's Kremlin-baked narratives instead of exposing them for what they are: deception and betrayal of Ukraine and Europe. This call was a show. The one day before Trump's phone call with Putin, two suspicious things happened. First, reporting emerged that Trump is considering recognizing Crimea as Russian territory, a move that would be illegal under international law and serve as a direct endorsement of Russia's 2014 illegal annexation. Second, Putin signed a decree allowing a U.S. hedge fund to invest in Russian companies, making a major shift in his long-standing economic restrictions against unfriendly nations, a sign that the Kremlin sees an opportunity to revive business ties with the United States under Trump's leadership. This isn't a coincidence. While Trump pretends to be discussing a peace plan, what is actually happening is a very public reestablishment of U.S. Russia economic ties, all at Ukraine's expense. This is not about diplomacy or ending the war. It's about lifting sanctions, reviving business deals, and allowing Russian oligarchs and state-backed enterprises to regain access to American capital. Trump is not brokering peace. He is brokering Moscow's return to the global economy while selling out Ukraine. Russia's demands. During his call with Trump, Putin laid out a series of unachievable demands that amount to nothing less than Ukraine's surrender. The West must halt all military aid and intelligence sharing, leaving Ukraine defenseless. The key condition for preventing the escalation of the conflict and working towards their resolution through political and diplomatic means should be the complete cessation of foreign military aid and provision of intelligence information to Kyiv. Ukraine must stop mobilizing troops even as Russia continues its genocidal war. Putin even threw in a bizarre bonus, proposing that Trump support organizing hockey matches between Russian and American players in the NHL and KHL, as if that somehow balances out his demands for Ukraine's capitulation. And unsurprisingly, Trump agreed. This isn't a negotiation, it's a direct attempt to force Ukraine to its knees while reestablishing U.S.-Russia ties on Putin terms. Trump isn't just appeasing Putin, he's openly collaborating with him to advance Moscow agenda while treating Ukraine's sovereignty like a bargaining chip. Meanwhile, in the days leading up to Trump's call with Putin, his State Department cut funding for tracking kidnapped Ukrainian children. Russia has kidnapped over 20,000 of them and pulled back from an international group investigating Russian war crime, as per March 17th New York Times report. The Hague-based International Center for the Prosecution of the Crime of Aggression against Ukraine, which investigates war crime tied to Putin and his allies, will now proceed without U.S. support. Additionally, Trump is scaling back the Justice Department War Crimes Accountability Team, weakening efforts to prosecute atrocities committed by Russia during its full-scale genocidal invasion, as Ukraine investigates over 150,000 possible war crimes. 150,000 possible war crimes. Follow the money. As Trump continues to throw Ukraine under the bus, his allies are quietly working behind the scenes to reestablish U.S. Russia financial ties. According to Bloomberg, Russian representatives have already begun discussing renewed energy cooperation with a state-controlled Gazprom, reportedly in talks with American contacts. Trump's goal isn't peace, it's restoring business deals with Russia and rehabilitating Putin and on the world stage, all while giving Russia free rein in Ukraine and beyond. This is the same playbook as 2016: undermine US alliances, weaken NATO, and enable Russia's expansion, but then we had guardrails. Europe must step up. While Putin, Trump, and Xi plot to carve up the world, Europe must recognize the stakes and act decisively. If Ukraine falls, Russia won't stop. It will march on other European capitals. With the US retreating under Trump, Europe must step in to ensure Ukraine's victory and prevent further Russian bloody expansion. The only potential upside to entertaining this Putin-Trump sham is that it buys Europe a sliver of time. Time that must be used wisely. This is a moment for Europe to ramp up weapons production, fortify defenses, and establish an independent strategy to counter Russia's ambition. This window is small, and the cost of inaction is catastrophic. Thank you for watching. Till next time, Slava Ukraini!